is there a lot of pressure within the External Affairs Ministry that you've got this, you want to tout this as a big achievement, but you already seen the likes of Shashi Tharoor and others coming out and hitting out using this politically? There is
immense pressure. There will have to be an outcome document, Rahul, but just to give you an understanding of why the dial back. Now, when the statement was used, Lavrov was negotiating, and so was the team from China, negotiating this entire statement that this is not an era of war, and it was included in the Bali Declaration. And the Russian ambassador speaking to us has said that yes, we agree with the statement because it just means that it is not an era of war for any country, not for the West as well. They should also stop provoking. But when they saw that the West was running with the narrative, quoting Prime Minister Modi everywhere that this is not an era of war, almost making it look like India has sided with the West, is when Russia and China now are saying, we don't want these terms, if these words are only going to impact us adversely.
And that's not acceptable to the rest of the world. But then that means that how do you come up with a joint communication?
It's going to be very difficult, Rahul, and this is only the second meeting. There are about a few very important ministerials that are going to take place, and in every
but this is the most important one.
We are going to see the friction, which means I don't know how the summit will come up with an outcome draft that will be acceptable to all. So we are headed for India. The challenges are two-pronged. One is to get an outcome document. Secondly, to get participation. If this is the way and fissures continue, then will we see high-level participation from Xi Jinping and Putin or not? These are the important questions that India will have to work towards and navigate through the document.
Do you want to explain the thinking in China? Because in Indonesia, they agreed to the joint statement, which now, I mean, Russia's problem I understand, but China's problem I don't fully understand, because your country did agree to this statement, not your country, you're an American national, but China did agree to this statement in Indonesia and no longer seems to want to sign on the same document.
Well, I would reiterate what Geeta said. I think she has a correct analysis. At this juncture, you know, I don't know that an initial statement or a joint communique is the real issue. It's really getting people talking. What we've had over the past many years is a loss of trust. You know, the Russians feel very strongly that they were lied to, both about NATO expansion and then in the two peace processes that were negotiated, which subsequently France and Germany's leaders said, oh, we weren't really going to comply with those. That was just, you know, basically creating time to decide what we wanted to do. So in order to get this thing through, I don't think, and I do believe this is the largest issue, the Ukrainian crisis. In order to do that, you have to start setting a foundation. That's why China came out with 12 principles, guidelines, to try to start it up. But China can't do this alone, and I do think that India and Modi have a very, very important equal role to play, along with other major countries in the region, to try to get this on a firm peace footing. And that includes Europe. Europe has to feel that you know, cannot be a forever war. It has to be ended, and you're starting to see that. There's rumors of a UK, France, Germany kind of encouragement to Zelensky that he won't be left in the cold, although he will not be able to join NATO directly.
Alexander Bratz, can you give us your sense of the thinking in Moscow? Will Putin be coming to India for the Leaders Summit in September? What are the conditions in which you think he could travel? In Indonesia, he chose not to go. It's only the Foreign Affairs Minister who went. How do you see that process move from here?
Well, I think President Putin will not risk his good relationship with India. He will definitely come over in September if the situation allows him to do. I mean, if there's going to be now serious defeat of the Russian armed forces in Ukraine by somehow, or some other situation happens, let's say, whatever. So, but he will definitely come, because see, he values Prime Minister Modi relationship, and he values relationship with President Chairman Xi. So he definitely will come over. But that, of course, would be good for him and for Indian side. that he will have something to say, something to deliver about his own peace plan, let's say, because he is also giving sort of conflicting messages on the situation in Ukraine. The Russian side says it's winning, but we don't see victories. However, there are some parts of Russian population which is, of course, most of them supporting President Putin and the goals of this, whatever special operation, how you call it. Other parts, which may be radical, want defeat of its own forces, which is also very bad. I think there's going to be no defeat, no capitulation. Nobody's going to raise a flag on the Kremlin, but that's, of course, stupidity. But however, that of course will be some kind of a Korean scenario, some kind of another scenario which would stop this conflict. And because, yes, as one of the speakers has mentioned, nobody wants this war to go forever.